Yeah? Come on, baby. You're coming with me, pal. Yeah! Wow. Hey guys and gals, welcome to Garage Gear. I'm JB. We're tearing down this 1971 Ariens Snow-thro, getting it ready for a future paint job. If you're going to tackle a job like this, it's a good idea to put down some cardboard to prevent any messes. It's a good idea to take lots of photos and videos. This will help you out immensely when you go to put everything back together. With that being said, let's go. Well, there's plenty of places to start, but the chute's already loose, so we're gonna take that off first. We're gonna get this handle out of the way. First bolt off. First couple things in, I'm already taking gloves off because I can't get my hands in certain spots with these things being big and bulky. Next up, I removed the belt cover, got that out of the way. Then it was time to remove the skids. From there, I went to the belly pan, got that out of the way, and raised the snowblower up so I had better access to the engine underneath. These 4 bolts aren't the most difficult to get to, but there are some things in your way. Just 4 bolts holding it on. You're gonna be the fun one, huh? There's always one. Come on, baby, you're coming with me. There we go. It's starting to look like it's missing a lot of stuff. And to help prevent this video from being dismantled by the YouTube algorithm, would you mind hitting that like button? Thank you. From there, I lowered the snowblower back down. So these panels right here are kind of rare, and the reason I say that is because just about every snowblower that I see from the 1970s with these has all these cracks and splits right here. It's very hard to find one that's in good shape, almost impossible, because the owners, when this is here, a lot of people lean on this, or maybe they'll put pressure on it this way and it just forces it to split. I've looked and I've looked and I've looked on Facebook Marketplace, on Craigslist, and I just can't seem to find one that's in great pristine shape. All these have cracks. Now the next question becomes, what am I going to do with this thing? Am I going to sand this all down, paint it? Because it does have this embossed lettering here, and this logo is too. This statement right here at the bottom, Ariens Company, Brillion, Wisconsin, USA, this is pretty much flat. You can kind of feel it, but it's pretty smooth. What I would like to do maybe is sand this all down, paint it white, and then just hand paint in all the letters. I think that would look kind of cool, but decisions need to be made. Then it was time to split the snowblower in half by removing the 2 bolts on the sides. From there, I got the belt out of the way, and take a look at the dirty backside of that auger housing. From here, I removed the auger control lever spring and the control lever hardware. And man, oh man, does that handle need to be cleaned up. That is one rusty handle if I've ever seen one. And here I hit the camera on accident with my pliers. I thought I scratched the lens. Whew, no damage done. Next up, I dismantled the speed control and got the lever off of that. Then I unhooked the speed control lever from the transmission. And pretty interesting setup how they have a spring there that you push down on to select the speed. Now take a look inside here. This is nuts. This is the transmission housing and all of its components inside. There's a lot going on in here, and here's your friction disc, and even though there's some cracks and whatnot, it's still super thick. It looks like this was replaced at one point or another. So that's in good shape. Everything else appears to be in good shape. Everything's just greasy and dirty. The friction disc itself is clean. That's good. Now this is an area I'm going to leave alone. I'm gonna have to get creative with packing this with maybe newspaper or something prior to them going in and sandblasting the whole outside. They're not going to touch anything on the inside. I'm going to have to do my best here to prevent any sand from making its way in. Okay, let's flip this guy back around on its face. There we go. Next up was removing the lower handlebars from the transmission housing. Surprised to see the chrome is held up this long. It was time to remove the wheels, so I put it up on some wooden blocks and then took off all the lug nuts. So next I'm going to get this tension pulley off, and if we look here, there's a hole in this giant pulley so you can access your bolt right here. Pretty convenient how they thought of things like that back in the day. But this bolt, you got to reach deep down inside, and then it's not a perfect extraction right there. So let's get it out. We got it. Boom. The impossible pulley, it came out. And we'll take this pulley apart. It's Still in pretty good shape. Tip this guy back down and around. That's heavy, holy cow. And then from here, we're just gonna remove this control assembly. Just like that. And then we'll take off this guy right here. Good deal. From here, our shear pins are coming out. So now I'm gonna try to remove the bushings here on the side. Okay, let's get these out. Okay, not too bad on that one. Not too bad there. Now we're gonna loosen up this bolt here on the side. Out she comes. And then we should just be able to pop this guy right out. Yep, not bad. Those are actually in pretty good shape. Now coming over to this side, let's loosen these guys up. And we'll loosen up this bolt. Perfecto. Voila, another good looking bushing. Let's see if we can pull these augers now forward and see if it just comes right out. Maybe? Uh-huh. Yeah? Is she gonna come free? Honestly, I think what's holding it on now is the impeller kit. I'm just gonna see if I can get it out without taking those out, but... Yeah? Come on, baby. You're coming with me, pal. Yeah! There we go. Woo! Wow. Check that out. She is officially free from the bucket. This thing is heavy. Holy cannoli. And the reason it wasn't coming out so easy is because these little edges here of the impeller kits were rubbing up against this one little edge right in here, and it was hanging on. It didn't want to come out, but we made it come out. So I'm going to take off these impeller kits, and then we'll attack the scraper bar. Let's get these impeller kits off. Now, hypothetically, these augers should just slide right off. There we go. Voila, that's a pretty good looking auger shaft for being 50 plus years old. There's your augers. We'll pull this side off. There we go. Look at that. Okay, now the dreaded scraper bar. I really don't want to bust out the grinder, so let's see what we can do with a breaker bar here. Lefty loosey. There we go. That's one. One off. Not bad. Yep. There we go. Two, maybe. Voila. This one's pretty chewed up. I don't know. You can do it! Will she go? Oh my gosh, I cannot believe it. These guys are coming off. They are pretty banged up. This bolt is at a slant. It's a direct slant, and that came off. Unbelievable. These two are really bad. Let's see. I think the breaker bar definitely helped here. Good deal. Last one. Can it come off? Yep. Oh, she's coming off, baby. She is free. Beautiful. I've got just the place for this old scraper bar. All right, let's have a look at all the carnage. So what I did was I set up a whole table and I put all the parts down. And as I was doing it, I was laying out all the screws and bolts and nuts and hardware. I'll get into all that in just a second. I'm gonna take another crack at this and rip everything off this engine block, including this faceplate here, the gas tank, the carburetor covers, and the exhaust panel here. There's the chute. Here's your gear select. Got your tension pulley and the mechanism that it connects to. Here is your impeller and your gearbox. Look at this. This auger shaft is thick and it all looks really good. That's shiny metal right there, ladies and gentlemen. That is in fantastic shape. Got my metal belt cover right here, the bracket that goes along the back, got my handlebar, got my lower handlebars, my tires. These need some work. This is my belly pan, and check this out. This is how you keep everything organized. If you're gonna go into an endeavor like this, you need to keep things organized. And I have all the bolts, all the hardware, everything organized in individual bags. Let's see, we got our auger lever control and spring, chute hardware, handlebar bolts. These are our bucket mount bolts. Everything's labeled. You gotta do this. Skid bolts, everything's tagged. This way I know exactly what's what when I go to put it all back. Chute bolts, and then I got all my impeller kit pieces. IK, impeller kit, number 4, number 2, number 3, and then the first one. All individually bagged so I know where they go. Now take a look at these augers. These are heavy suckers. They're so heavy. Oh my gosh. They're in great shape too. But this will make it a lot easier to have these sandblasted. Here's our transmission housing, and getting these hubs off is going to be a lot of work. So I think I'm just gonna leave these on and just paint over them. I'll get them sanded as best I can, and we'll just paint right over that because that is a ton of work to get in there and dismantle all that. Again, this isn't a rebuild, this is a repaint. And all this is working just fine. We're gonna keep it that way. And here's a look at our bucket, all emptied out. Definitely gonna be in need of a sandblasting, especially down here where the scraper bar was. Now we can get in here and we can see all the damage of all the years of abuse this thing has taken. The bearing in the back is actually in great shape. It just needs to be all cleaned up in here. The welds all look terrific. Even this one that's a little rusted out, still looking good. Even on this side, all good. Next step, we're cleaning all of this. Not too hard to rip this old gal down. Lucky for me, all the nuts and bolts came out without a fight. And what's really nice about these older snowblowers is that things aren't impossible to access. When you look at a lot of newer snowblowers out there today, all of those have multiple panels upon panels stacked up, covering just maybe one bolt that you need to get your hands on. And it takes time to get through all those just to get to that bolt. That's not the case with these older snowblowers. This whole dismantling job took about 2 hours to complete, and my best advice if you plan to do this in the future is to keep it simple. In my experience, it's always easiest to pull off the easiest things first and then work your way toward the harder components. In other news, Pro Parts Direct sent us a bunch of cans of this famous Ariens orange paint for this project. Thank you very much, Pro Parts Direct. I'll have their information linked down below in the description. Now, if you're interested in checking out more videos on this whole Ariens repaint project, I'll have those videos linked down below as well. For more cool garage gear content, click or tap the screen right here. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the garage.